So in this video, we're going to talk about drawing an angle in standard position. So we're going to start with some definitions. First, ray is where you have one point on a line and all the points extending in one direction from that point. So the end point is the first point on the ray. So you see here, and it keeps on going past another point. So you can almost say it's half a line because the arrow goes in both directions. But a ray, it has a starting point and it keeps on going in the other direction. So this represents EF, and notice how the arrow is over the F. That's because it keeps going past and through the F, but it starts at the E. So angle is the union of two rays having a common endpoint. So a vertex is the common endpoint. So here we have two rays with a common endpoint, this vertex here. So you got the two rays. So here are just some Greek letters we might use. Often use theta, sometimes use phi or phi. Use phi, call it phi. Alpha, beta, gamma. So structure of an angle. Angle creation is a dynamic process. We start with two rays lying on top of one another. We leave one fixed in place and rotate the other. The fixed ray is called the initial side, and the rotated ray is called the terminal side. In order to identify the different sides, we indicate the rotation with a small arc and an arrow. So we have the initial side here, and it goes to the terminal side with our vertex. Measure an angle, the amount of rotation from the initial side to the terminal side. Two popular angle measurements that we're going to be talking about, degrees and radians. There are others, but degrees and radians are most common for this. So the degree, 1 degree is 1/360th of a circle. So a circle is 360 degrees. Standard position is when the vertex is located on the origin, and the initial side, as see how it's over here, on the positive x-axis. So positive angle is the rotation is going to be in a counterclockwise direction, as you see here by the arrow. And a negative would be going in a clockwise direction. So this is positive, and this direction is negative. Okay, quadrant angles. Angles whose terminal side lies on the x-axis, including 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360. So you see here's a 0 degree, here's a 90 degree, here's 180, and here's 270. How to draw an angle in standard position. Express the angle and measure as a fraction of 360. Reduce the fraction to simplest form. Draw an angle that contains the same fraction of the circle, beginning on the positive x-axis and moving counterclockwise for the positives and clockwise for the negatives. So we're going to sketch the angles for the following angles in standard position. Okay, so for the first one, we have 30 degrees. So 30 degrees over 360 degrees is 1/12 of a circle. So rewrite the fraction, something more familiar. We could think of this as 1/3 of 1/4. Now, how does that help us? Well, if we're starting here, think of this quadrant here. I'm going to change colors. Maybe this quadrant. That's 1/4 of the circle. And so we're talking about 1/3 of that quarter. So 1/3 might go somewhere around about here. So that'd be our 30 degrees. And then let's look at negative 135 degrees. So negative 135 over 360. It's going to be negative 3/8. So that's like saying -3/2 of 1/4. So again, if we look at a quarter, this is going in the negative direction now. So here's our initial side, and this would be a quarter, and this would be a quarter. We're talking 3/2. Negative means we're going this direction here. So this is 1.5. 1.5 puts you here, so it goes that direction. And that'd be -135 degrees. And that is drawing angles.